Now, I used to believe that the key to realizing our potential was simply to do church well. And I was especially passionate, as you heard in that wonderful introduction, about paying attention to what I called religious hospitality. My reasoning went like this. Every Sunday, our congregations have thousands and thousands of visitors who come to check us out, to see if we might be their spiritual home. And if we just did a better job of making sure that these people were truly welcomed, if we paid more attention to really engaging them, they'd return and eventually find a religious home. And I believe this because I saw it work. As you heard, I served a congregation that grew from 400 members to more than 750 members. And we concentrated on what visitors experienced when they came, and on the quality of our worship and all our programming. We didn't do anything that was particularly innovative. Yet we became one of the half dozen or so fastest growing congregations in our association. And I've also seen dozens of other congregations growing and thriving. In every single case, they have a sense of mission, a passion for excellence, and a deep knowledge of their context. And our thriving churches are really different from one another. There isn't one magic formula because they've learned to adapt to where they are. I still believe that doing church well is essential, and I'm convinced that we should be attentive to the needs of the thousands of seekers who come week after week. However, I now realize that with all these changes that are happening that I've shown you, that this is not enough. It isn't nearly enough. Simply doing an excellent job of doing church isn't enough because our culture is changing so rapidly. Now, we UUs want to make a difference. We want to make a difference at the personal and spiritual level. We want to deepen our lives and be in community with friends who seek depth and authenticity. And we want to make a difference in the wider world, too. We refuse to separate spiritual depth from social justice. We want to act together in the world as an expression of our faith. We want to reach out. And we're not content, thank heavens, with being a marginalized remnant of a fine tradition. We face a challenge and an opportunity that is truly historic. If we keep on doing religion the way we've done it for the last 50 or 100 years, we are doomed. If we keep doing religion the way we've done it for the last 50 years, we're doomed. We will slowly fade into irrelevance, and that would be tragic. However, if we adapt, we have potential that no other religious tradition has. We don't have to change our values. We don't have to change our theology. Everything that is central and is essential to who we are is what the emerging culture wants and needs. So what do we have to do to seize this historic opportunity? What do we have to do to become the religion for our time? We have to change the way we practice our religion. We have to break down the walls of church. I love this breaking down walls theme that you have here. We have to break down all of the barriers that separate us from the millions of people who hunger for spiritual community and who want to create a compassionate and just planet. And we can't simply expect them to come to us anymore. Some are going to come and we have to welcome them. But so many people are so turned off by what they imagine church to be that they'll never come to us. We have to learn how to reach out in new ways and engage people where they are. And that means increasingly interacting with people in the electronic commons. It also means engaging them at public witness events like rallies for marriage equality, immigration reform, and economic justice. I see the time has run because of some delays, so I'm going to skip a little bit here, and there's plenty more if you come to the workshop. Let me hit upon some of the things that the association is doing under the umbrella that we're calling Congregations and Beyond. We just, during this past week, had a meeting that I think is going to be very significant. We're working with a consultant around communications, looking to rebrand ourselves. But that branding isn't about logos and colors and the website. The real question we're asking ourselves is, how do we communicate effectively and powerfully with people that we've not been able to reach before? How do we tell them who we are, what we do, and how it makes a difference in their lives? It was really an exciting meeting, and you're going to be hearing a lot more from that. And the other one is, how do we align ourselves then with that, and how do we signal it to the rest of the world? Some other things. We're beginning the planning for a new program in entrepreneurial ministry, because the cutting edge stuff that's happening, oddly, as I read, around organizational change, so much of it is happening at business schools. But what they're learning applies equally to us. So we're in meetings with folks from Harvard and Stanford business schools about designing a program for entrepreneurial ministry. I'm really very excited about that. We're doing tons of social media stuff. I'm summarizing here. Part of the key to this is a point to take away. We're going to succeed not by creating nifty resources for you in Boston, but by essentially crowdsourcing innovation in Unitarian Universalism. So we do not have a lack of creativity or idealism or passion, but we're not terribly good at communicating it and sharing it with one another. One of the things that's so healthy that's happening in Unitarian Universalism is this: breaking down walls of isolation that have kept people apart. We're doing it with mentoring, one congregation mentoring another in one program, and we're looking forward in this congregation and beyond of engaging people in such a way that our job at headquarters is not so much to create stuff, but to see what's working, highlight it, spread it to other people. The buzzword that's being used now is that we're curating. We're not creating, that we're like curators at a museum, holding things up and sharing them and spreading them. Technology makes that possible as never before. So I want to wrap by saying that there's some of this stuff is tactical and some of it is technological, but the real challenge ultimately to us is spiritual and religious. This isn't really about being high-tech savvy or about clever branding. And it's not just about institutional change. It's about sharing. It's about reaching out. It's about being open to new possibilities. It's about getting out of our comfort zone and changing our habits. It's about having the courage to take some bold risks. And all of that is spiritual work that demands spiritual discipline. But we have always been a people who, at our best, embraced the future. Look at the heroes and heroines of Unitarian Universalism. People like Susan B. Anthony and Theodore Parker and Ralph Waldo Emerson. Or think of even going way back, Servetus or Francis David. We are people who let go of what no longer serves and what stifles the human spirit. Spiritual growth is ultimately about breaking down walls. And what is love but breaking down those barriers that separate us? I love that reading of something there is that does not love a wall. Barriers that separate us from our inner selves, that separate us from one another, that separate us from all of creation. So our challenge is to come together and to break down walls of ignorance, hatred, greed, and fear, and to build a faith that grows our souls and truly does help to heal the world. Together, we can seize a historic opportunity. Thank you. So may it be.